There just isn't enough time. It just isn't enough time. I may have to increase prices. I don't want to increase prices, but there's too much work. This comes from our, if you remember, this was our military, unfortunately brain injured vet in the field who is growing a pot farm. He is growing a pot farm. He has grown a pot farm, and he quit pot. And so he's trying to make some changes. And he just sent me $35 to talk about whatever I wanted to talk about. And so I will. So thank you very much. That's enjoyable. And one thing I did want to talk about, of the many things, I got to go through a list of my originals that I want to do, which keep getting thrown to the back of the burner. I'll never get to them. This came up when I was doing research for the Book of Numbers, when I had to go through those 900 dating profiles. And not that I didn't believe that what Chad or Atham or any of the other guys out there who were dating and doing online dating were telling me. But I thought, hey, the stuff you see, there's a Reddit subreddit called Where Are All the Good Men or something like that. And it's guys taking screenshots of Tinder profiles or dating profiles. And it's just it's scripted. It's a cliche now. Wow, I'm Becky, 32, and I'm a bitch, and I had the proud mom of two amazing children. I mean, you could write it, and they're fat and tattoos and all that other stuff. And I said, is it really that bad? I mean, you're probably just you're pulling the worst creatures from the bottom of the ocean. That can't be that common. And I found out, to my chagrin, it is. But there was one thing that still shocked me. I mean, okay, wow, believe it or not, guys, women in their 30s who've been fed a steady diet, brought up on a steady diet of feminism and girl power, might have delusional expectations of what they're going to be able to get with a guy. Must be 6 feet tall, and she's 250 pounds at 5'8". One thing I was like, okay, this can't be that common, is the gals that mother of 2 children and one on the way. Do you see what she did there? Oh, it was so fucking clever. As clever as a cosmopolitan writer. No, this kid, no. That's got to be photoshopped. Maybe 1 or 2. Can't be that common. And then another military vet agent in our field, Dre, started sending me Photoshop screenshots of dating profile. I trust Dre. And then I have another agent in the field who I won't mention. And he sent me screenshots. And holy shit, these girls are out there. There are women who are pregnant that actually think it's okay to date. Now, we are faced with a quandary once again, ladies and gentlemen. Do I waste my time trying to explain to pregnant girls why they should probably not be on dating apps? Why, having other men's kid is already pretty bad, but with one in the oven, it's like, ugh. Do I try to explain that to them? Or do we take this phenomenon, know that trying to convince somebody who's already that delusional to actually put pictures of themselves with the pregnant belly, like, mother of 3 amazing children, 1 on the way. Do we try and reason with that when they're that insane? Or do we just try and learn a lesson from it and gain something practical? And says, I truly think it's futile. If someone's that delusional, think pregnant and dating is okay. I think we're going to speak to the male audience and the women audience who are traditional, or at least don't have their heads up their asses, on how to respond to this. Here's what's happening, okay? And I'll go into it. It doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't make the problem go away. It won't end this scourge. But there's a little bit of understanding. With some understanding, maybe we can find contentment or peace. The male sex drive, as we more recently found out, is only around 5 to 7 times that of women. We could argue about linear versus exponential relationships. But even though it's not 9 and it's only 7 or 6 or 5. That is still very lopsided. And when you have this such a lopsided power dynamic where one group of people has something the other group of people want 5 to 7 times more, that well, they can basically have whatever they want, that manifests itself in the real world. And we see this. Men do all the real hard, dangerous jobs. Men do a disproportionate amount of the hard STEM jobs. We work harder. We work longer. We put ourselves through more of life. Although I wonder, are men genetically engineered to die younger than women, or is it because we just suffer more? We don't know. But so far, the evidence looks like men die earlier than women because we just go through more. There's certainly the war, the number of men who die in war compared to women. And we kind of shield them from everything. And as time has gone on and the economy has advanced, the technology has advanced, it's always more, and it's always more comfortable. It's always constantly doting, and what can we do, and how do we protect you? That as time has gone on and more and more wealth has been built up, the delusion, the world that we have brought women up in this coddled environment has become so warped that women now actually think they're oppressed when there are laws in the books ascribing affirmative action, like the active discrimination against men. And I know, well, it's affirmative action. See, we're helping women. And in doing so, you're also discriminating against men. Neither here. And it's public now. We're going to get X% women into this corporate boardroom. We're going to pass a law. And we're going to hire this many women. And let me ask you guys this. And ladies, any of you that are interested, have you heard one damn thing cheering on or championing boys or men in the past 30 years? I didn't see it in school. All I hear is about how I'm unconsciously sexist. Like not only is the lack of effort on women's part and the lack of effort in majoring in tough subjects, not only is that not the fault, it's my fault. Somehow I am actively oppressing women, that I'm this bad. And I think about the real word. I'm a bigot. I hate people because of how they were born, which is simply not true. That's a horrible thing to be. If anything, I'm quite the opposite. I'm like, hey, I'd like you to join us. Stop majoring in stupid shit. Because I actually do care about women. I don't care about their feelings. But it is, we have so coddled, with such kid gloves, and kept them ignorant about the real world. They actually think they're oppressed. They live longer. They consume more resources because they live longer. Also, you can look up the New Zealand study based on tax payment and all that. They don't produce. You could say women don't make as much as men. I would say they don't earn as much. They don't produce as much, because I doubt the pricing mechanisms in the labor market is that warped. If women were just as productive as men and they were paid 30% less, you'd see so many people trying to hire women. Sorry, I'm an economist. I am arguing that you're wrong. It's not discrimination. It's choices. But we have such a lot of the vagina. We need the vagina. You'll lie. You'll keep the lie up because you think agreeing with them will get them laid. Great quote from Bill Burr. They're surrounded by this tornado of misinformation and no one corrects them because we want to fuck them. There's never been a more poignant or true statement ever said in the history of the English language than that. And I'm afraid what's going to happen to this Overton window, like where girls actually think they're oppressed. They have, like, what was it, 5 to 8 times the scholarships of men, the constant cheering and checking, laws in their favor, and men are blamed. Oh, it's sexism. It's just men's law. Men just out there discriminating against women because, why would we want to work with women? I just want to work with a bunch of jamokes all day. Why would I want to see girls at the office? Oh, well, we can't date them? We can't hit on them? Oh, well, then I guess I would work with a bunch of jamokes. Where's the oil fields? So you got to realize that they are in a bubble, a very spoiled, rotten bubble. I mean, imagine a suburbanite princess just told that's what it is. And when there's no critical thinking, like, well, how do we close the wage gap? What can I do? What agency and responsibility can I take within my power, despite being discriminated, to help close the wage gap? Well, you can major in STEM. Super duper. And so this is how coddled of an environment we've created, where they are arguably some of the most pampered people in the history of the world, and they still feel oppressed. They still feel taken advantage, and it's your fault. So now, as this Overton's window, and we never introduce reality. We never check them. We never say, hey, maybe stop having kids. Hey, you stop drinking the liberal arts. Hey, why don't you put in a little bit extra time at the Hey, why don't you ask for more pay or a higher raise? Instead of that's not going to get in to penetrate that bubble because they want the lies. This Overton's window of delusion is going to keep moving whatever direction it's moving. Victimhood, every problem is a crisis, whatever. Shock any of you that there are now some, not all, and certainly not the majority. Thankfully, this is still a rare event, but now it's popping up, that they think there's nothing wrong going and dating while you're pregnant. And they even putting it there like, you can't handle, like getting the attitude in the lip. And to most sane people, male or female, you're like, but what? Understand, it's only, this doesn't happen to like people who were brought up in the real world. This doesn't happen to poor people who like, oh, I had to work hard, get this, make the right decision in an environment where you're not constantly sung with praises and adulation, where you can make no mistake. Remember the poster, Women Are Perfect, over at that Seattle school? Only in that environment can you come to the conclusion, completely unaware. I don't think they were like, oh, this is going to be risky. Well, he should like me for who I am. Who cares if I'm pregnant and have a bunch of spawn from other men in tow? And what I'm afraid of is what's going to happen. I really am. Like, there are times, Cappy was drunken at parties, and I made some very poor advances. All right, I never groped, never did that. Although I do remember sometimes in high school, even, you have dances as a dance place. Maybe if you got a little close, you put your hand on her ass. Am I going to have someone? Brett Kavanaugh had someone come back with pretty dubious evidence, or like, I'm sorry, no evidence. Am I going to? I never run for office, but am I going to have to worry like, in 1990, what would have that been? 2, 3? Aaron Clary put his hands on. It's like, well, you seem to like it at the time. I mean, really, is it going to go? We're going to have the Overton's window move that any slight infraction, any inconvenience. Look at how we've redefined grape. Like, whew, a guy breaks up with a girl and she's upset. And not all of them, thank God. Some of them conclude the logical course of action is to accuse that person of grape. I have a close personal friend who I was like, dude, that chick is sizing you. She's set you up. You got to get out of there now. The call's coming from within the house. And it was a trap. And thank God he had his phone. Thank God. And we got a cop buddy in on that. Because that girl would have claimed domestic assault, domestic abuse. Read Terrence Popp's book. What was it? No, it wasn't Terrence Popp. He sent me an email instead. Ask Terrence Popp about lies that his ex-wife would tell about him, right? So that she could get it. That is now not becoming, it's never acceptable. It's immoral. It's disgusting. But what do you think is going to happen for people that are never told no and they can't do no wrong and they're entitled to everything? What do you think you're going to get with the Winnetka princess? And so it should be no shock at the already paltry low level of dating caliber out there. Your dating pool out there is very low to begin with. It shouldn't be a shock that you start seeing pregnant girls, pregnant women on dating sites. It's appalling. It's disgusting. It's also like shits in the streets. Like, let's go back even 20 years. There weren't tent cities in the Twin Cities. There were tent cities in a lot of places. Now there are tent cities all over the place. Go back 20 years, what? Maybe San Francisco and maybe Seattle had shit in the streets. Now what? There's probably shit in every major big leftist city. The most notably Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, Minneapolis to get frozen turds in winter. That's always fun. 20 below zero. You ever see a human turd freeze? It's beautiful. It's as beautiful as Minnesota. And so it's not just necessarily, but we are holding very few people up to standards nowadays. And you can see this decay in your average quality in human. So don't be surprised when you see tatted up, fat, bloated, single mom of 4 with one on the way, barking orders at you to be over 6 feet tall. It doesn't solve the problem. It's not, the problem started decades ago. But don't let it get you infuriated. Laugh at it. Realize where it comes from. And if you care, just be, like you could ask the philosophical question, well, where are we going then as a society? If today it's acceptable for people to shit on the streets and for pregnant women to post their dating as a libertarian, yes, by all means, go ahead and post your dating profile. There should be enough cultural, I wouldn't even call it shame, but wisdom or knowledge or street smarts that you wouldn't do that you would realize this was somewhat embarrassing. I'm making myself look like an idiot. Plus, it's practically impossible. But we're beyond that. I don't think they even have that self-awareness now. So what's going to come in the future? Who knows? I mean, really, who knows? I don't know what's going to come in, because only the truly sick and twisted and depraved and people who have nothing else in life will concoct and come up with some other crazy shit. How depraved can human society get? How disgusting can we? Where do we have any bottom until there's an economic crisis and we got to learn what? Starvation, huh? Production. I'm not entitled to a man who's 6 feet tall, even though I'm a proud, strong, single mother. And so that's it. I'm teaching you to accept. I'm not telling you to celebrate. I'm not telling you to approve or condone, certainly condemn, but just understand this is where it's coming from. And if you were curious, no, they're never going to find a guy. No, it's not going to happen. It's not. But it's already the inklings, the beginnings of a portender of much worse things to come. And I'm sorry, I don't have that dark of a mind to figure out what the next step of depravity is going to be in dating profiles of women this time. So thank you to our veteran agent in the field for that. Maxi Mike for $5. Apparently the following message had offensive words because it was flagging my super chat. What was it? You got to creatively spell with these super chats, otherwise don't get. Vlad Savulak, men watch 3 times more prawn. Say, yeah, I see what you did there. See, that got past the censors than women, according to Prawn Hub Insights. All right, so there's another data point, 3-1. And then I would also, not 3 times like by the minute or the type. Kind of curious. And all donations on this podcast video. I got to get going. I got to go get food, come back, and I'm on with Masculine Geeks tonight. Fred Freeman saw $5. You need an alias 4 liberal gals in this. You need at least 4 liberal gals in the city. When Net Cup Princess seemed good at first, then said climate change will be 3 times as bad as the merciful Corona Chan. It started decades ago. They were trained to say that. Congratulations, Fred Freeman Sowell. You are the fine dater of an NPC. I hope she's a cute NPC, but it's an NPC. Mexi Mike, $10. Been listening to incredible book. I'm talking effing amazing. No shade, but competes with yours. Rollers with Dita, Jack Donovan. Hard Times Create Strong Men by Stefan Arnio. Will you charge to review it? Well, it depends on the length. Rob Fugalski. It's basically $1 a page. Rob Fugalski paid me $400 to review a 400 book on the pendulum. So depending on the length of the book, let's just call it $100. $100 a page. Woohoo! Clear retirement now. $1 a page, and that's if it's an audio. It's very expensive, Mexi Mike. I understand. I understand why people don't pay it, but reading takes up so much time, and I don't have that time. Maybe when I'm unemployed, then you guys can. But if I ever become unpopular, then no one would pay me to do book reviews. Oh, my comment was below that first super chat. All right, let's go back up to the first super chat. Laughing my fucking ass off. You think this is bad. You clearly have. Is it getting worse? You clearly haven't seen average 2021 Tinder profiles nor witnessed Joker's profile of the day. No, I tune into Better Bachelor. By the way, everyone tune into Better Bachelor and our good buddy Donovan Sharp. It magnifies your book on number of conclusions. Men should always do better. But yeah, it's bad. It's horrible. It's just horrible. All right, there you guys go. The link to my book down below. Gentlemen, please get that book. Ladies, you want to get that book you could reverse engineer some helpful numbers for yourself. But ladies, if you want a confidence booster, read that book. You'll be like, oh my God, my competition is this bad. And then you will find the Geisa. Aaron, how do I find the Geisa? Ask no girl ever. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.